Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm health coach Rick, and I'm joined by my fellow health coach Kate. Kate, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I just got caught in a rainstorm, and I have relocated from outside to inside.
Yeah, we wanted this to be, I am obviously on location here, campsite heaven. Kate was going to be right outside in front of her tent too, but it sounds like the heavens opened on you, Kate.
It did. It's all good.
Yeah. What's funny is that you're in the same state I am, and you're actually not that far away from me. So this could get interesting.
It's crazy, exactly.
Well, anyway, thank you all for watching. I'm going to hopefully get the posts here so I can see your comments. And Kate, you too, let me know if you're seeing people on our feed.
Yeah, Nancy has joined us.
Hey, Nancy.
Susan is on.
Awesome.
Helen has joined us, so people have started to tune in.
Excellent. Actually, I'm sitting close enough to the camera here. I can see it on the screen here. Katie, Dana, excellent. Good. Please let us know that you are watching. If you are watching us right now, let us know so we can involve you in the conversation. Now, you may see I have a bit of a motley crew behind me, a lot of commotion happening here. There's my brother. If you guys haven't watched the commercial we put out, we had a blast doing that earlier this week. It's kind of fun. My daughter's also here. These are people that go camping with me every year, among many other of my family members. In fact, Kate, Coach Bill, my brother Bill, who works for HMR also for 30 years, you've have a long history of working out with him. You guys used to do stairs at the BU. So Kurt and I were joking. Bill's actually not here, but we were going to say that Bill is actually, he'll be joining us later. He's on the lake. He's doing his 55th lap around the lake, and then he's just going to come back and do some kettlebells. We've got 400 pounds of kettlebells here, and then he'll be joining us. So you look forward to having Bill later on the broadcast. All right, so here's the deal. We are talking about camping with HMR. And what do we mean by that? We mean staying on track with healthy eating when you are taken completely out of your regular routines. But Kate, you don't really have to be camping for the discussion that we have tonight and the strategies that we're going to talk about to be relevant. Do we really have to be camping?
Yeah, I mean, you could be going to the beach. You could be going to a barbecue. Right. You could be leaving your house in the morning and coming home in the evening, visiting a family member. So you're away from your home routine.
That's right. Anytime that you're away from home. So the point, though, is that we're talking about quick, easy, convenient. Quick, easy, convenient. That's sort of the theme for tonight. Those are the strategies we're looking for. But they help you accomplish the broader goal of eating healthy when you're out of your routines. So obviously HMR foods, along with fruits and vegetables, they help you to do that. We're not going to talk about the variety and the taste. Everyone's got their favorites.
Yeah.
That's an assumption here. We're not going to talk about the volume, how much food you can eat for so few calories and stay full. We are talking specifically about the quick, easy, and convenient aspects of your HMR strategies. So if you're watching, we want to hear them. What are your favorite ones when you're out and about on the go, even if you are camping? Now,
absolutely. We have Dara has joined us.
Hey, Dara.
Anna is on the call on our video from Kentucky.
Awesome.
Gina has joined us. She's on vacation.
Gina.
She's in Long Beach Island. Nancy is watching with us. This is wonderful.
It's fantastic. I saw Shane had joined us as well. Thank you, sir. Always appreciate you here in spirit. Fantastic. Kate, we talked about camping and the fact that I almost feel, I don't know why I feel guilty about this, but let me just say it. Folks, there are different types of camping. Okay?
Yeah.
And so Kurt and I very proudly talked about our almost 50-year family tradition of camping. If you are a camping purist, in other words, you go into the woods with everything you're going to eat and do on your back, that's not the camping that the Riess family does. Okay, it may be the ones that you do, and there may be strategies we cover that will work there. We have a car, and we have some of the amenities. I mean, we have, we're able to bring a lot of foods that you would not be able to bring on your back. We bring a lot of canned things, actually, Kate, just because, it allows you to, I mean, the HMR foods are easy peasy, but the produce is kind of more of the challenge there. So whatever your type of camping, take what you hear tonight, and again, as Kate said, it doesn't have to be camping. It could be going to the beach for a day. or a vacation. Take what works. And your goal, as with all of these events, is there something new that you haven't tried that you should take on and just see how you can add to your set of skills around quick, easy, and convenient eating. So that's my sort of mea culpa, Kate, if you will, about the fact that...
And Rick, I know you've joked that you're not, traveling for days with a backpack with all your items. Your camping is on one level. I'm even taking it farther. I am glamping. I have a cabin on a lake that has electricity where I bring my Magic Bullet blender.
Yes.
And I have a fridge and a freezer with ice. So there's that camping, or I call it glamping also, that is more my speed.
A fridge with a freezer. Oh my God! Technically, I don't think you can call that camping. I'm sorry. Sorry.
It's a cabin on a lake, so I call it camping.
Yes, I'm camping. Hold on. I'm just going to finish blow drying my hair.
Exactly.
That sushi we ordered last night, that was a little overcooked. All right. So anyway, take it as it will. Easy, quick.
Yes.
Okay, that's what we're looking for here. So, Kate, before we get into it in much more detail, as we always like to do, last week was a fabulous episode. You and Jennifer, that was just so awesome. I loved every minute of it. You guys talked about how to best use HMR products prepared as baked goods and enjoy them as treats, but still practice enough volume strategies to manage calories so you can either keep losing weight or better manage your weight. So as we like to do, accountability spotlight. People took on a lot of different things, and most notably the ice cream. So let's follow up on a few of those items, and then we'll get into the
it was really all about either doing a new recipe, doing a preparation method that you haven't done or would be useful. And we have a number of people who are joining us tonight who mentioned wanting to try something. We have a couple Sherrys with us who had mentioned wanting to try the HMR ice cream. Sherry N had mentioned actually wanting to do a meatloaf type of recipe with a cereal and the beef stroganoff. I would love to hear about that.
Me too.
A couple other folks who are with us who mentioned wanting to try the ice cream. David had mentioned the ice cream. Vicky had mentioned that. Shane, you had mentioned wanting to do risotto in lettuce wraps, thinking that would be a slightly different prep method for you. I know Nancy, who's with us tonight, had mentioned she didn't really do the muffins a lot in phase 1, but now being in phase 2, she thought that might be a useful strategy.
Sure.
So for folks who were with us last week, if you did have a chance to try either a baked recipe or a different preparation method, we would love to hear about it.
Kurt, someone just said they saw you cheating at darts.
They're on to me.
Love it.
And Shawnee's watching. Sun Mountain, bro. It's Sun Mountain. Our good friend Sean is with us. That's great. Awesome. Tanya, welcome. Love it. Love it. Susan, again, one of our regulars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, lots of... so we're looking forward. Did anyone have something to report, really, from taking on any new strategies from last week?
Yeah, it sounds like Shane did his risotto with lettuce, salsa in lettuce wraps, which is delicious.
Yes.
Wonderful to have the lettuce as a base, which, of course, bread might be a more popular thing to do a wrap in, so that's great. I'm curious if anyone had a chance to try either a baked recipe or the HMR ice cream. That was a challenge from last week.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. That was particularly encouraging because, while the creativity, Kate, of the baked goods, I mean, it's just extraordinary how committed people are to either losing weight or managing their weight, spending all that time converting the HMR foods into really healthy baked goods, which sounds like an oxymoron.
Oh, Rick, Nancy T mentioned that she made muffins for the first time. They were filling, and she also saw the post on our site about the coffee ice cream. I had shared last week my Starbucks recipe, which a lot of people do, the really low-calorie iced coffee that I get at the supermarket.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of people wanted to try that with chocolate, with vanilla, so that was a popular one, too.
Yeah, that was a really popular one, Kate. Your coffee, that was like the recipe of the week, it seemed like. Really, really good.
Love it.
Yeah, love it. Shane, darn near tasted like a burrito. That's what he said. I love it. That's great. Hey, miracle of miracles, Kate. Look at this. The feed is coming in, and I can see posts. That almost never happens.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So for folks who are just joining us, we were following up on some accountability spotlight from last week, wanting to hear if people had a chance to try a different preparation method, whether it be one of the baked recipes or a high volume recipe. And we will transition to talking about when you're on the go, when you're at the beach, when you're camping, how you can be successful and stay on track away from your home environment.
Yep. Coach Sandy piping in, took on the high volume shakes at breakfast twice this week.
Nice.
Haven't done that in a long time. Isn't that the way it works? You have these great strategies and all of a sudden you look back and you're like, why have I stopped doing that strategy? So Sandy, that's awesome. That's totally great.
I love it.
Really love it. All right, well, Kate, feel free, interrupt. If people are reporting on the ice cream or any of the strategies from last week, I'd love to hear it. But let's get right into the topic at hand, shall we say. We are talking about strategies while camping, but as you've probably already gleaned, that was just an excuse to set up a cool set for us to broadcast
Rick,
from.
I had an awesome tent set up, and I got downpoured on, which is probably why I look wet. So
Yeah.
move inside, but I had a good setup too.
Yeah, Kate, and if people didn't hear the very beginning of this, the heavens may open on us, but we're going to forge ahead unless there's lightning. So you guys all know that scene from Caddyshack. Well, maybe not. That's kind of dating me, but there's a downpour scene in Caddyshack, suffice to say. So, Kate, these strategies, really what they have in common, whether you're camping at a picnic, barbecue, going to the beach, on vacation, whatever, they're quick, easy, and convenient. And isn't that something that is not easy to find? Quick, easy, convenient ways to eat healthy and stay on track. Are you kidding me?
It's amazing.
It's amazing. So this is a really, really important topic. And I would just say that if you have an event coming up, let's say you're going camping, the fork in the road about how well that's going to go tends to come a lot sooner than you think. Because way before the moment when you're facing the temptation or eating the healthy food, way before that, there's a decision to make. It's one you want to start training yourself to do. I mean, I know when I do it, but I also know in hindsight when I don't do it, Kate, because it's hard to remember to do. It's like, what am I up to here? Like, what is my goal? Am I going to take a break during this time, or am I going to figure it out? And one of the thoughts that Kate and I really went back and forth on a lot, including with Nancy's brain power on this, is this whole idea that when you take a break, you really actually reinforce the take a break response. You almost start to, it's very easy to develop a pattern. I'm sure many people know of what I speak. You know, any pattern that you practice just gets strengthened. And there is a thing called the I'm going to take a break pattern. And all of a sudden, whatever the event is, it's just easier and easier to take a break. So that is something that we really want to talk about. Like before you go on, and Kate, I think you could even make it about, gee, I'm going to be pretty busy today, and I'm going to be away from home for 8 hours and in the car. You could sort of apply this. Am I going to now reinforce my I'm going to take a break pattern? Or am I going to reinforce my I'm going to figure it out pattern?
Yeah.
Which is, there's your fork. And then from there, we're going to talk about strategies tonight. But it really starts with the foundation of I'm committed to figuring this out.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And there always seems like there's an event that's the annual trip that we've been looking forward to. It's the day at the beach. It's the I have to grab my daughter unexpectedly that happened today between meetings. And then, of course, there's always something and a reason to not.
Right.
And that's where it can really get reinforced.
Yeah. There will always be things to figure out. So you're kind of always faced with that fork in the road. Am I going to take a break or am I going to figure it out? And one of those leads to a very different future of success around you managing your weight. You know, let's all commit to developing that I'm going to figure it out pattern and then strengthen it every time you make that decision. Okay.
And we have Dana on tonight who's come to the right place because she has an 8-day fishing trip in 2 weeks. Perfect timing.
I don't know, Dana. I think you should take a break and, sort of hit it hard when you get back. What do you say? No, let's figure it out. Let's see what you can pull from tonight to make that happen in a way that you would not experience otherwise if you weren't here tonight. Okay, great. So, Kate, let's talk for a minute about if you don't say, I'm going to figure it out, and you say, I am going to take a break, there are consequences.
I can reflect on camping trips that I went on as a kid, or of course, if you think about what the average person is doing, I mean, what foods are most common to bring? It's the burgers, it's the dogs, it's the s'mores, the bags of chips that are portable, the cookies.
Yep.
I can think of times that I went camping as a young kid and there was not a single fruit or vegetable in sight.
Yep.
And so if you do decide to take a break, no judgment, of course, but it's virtually a guaranteed weight gain experience.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens when the average person goes camping. That's most common.
Yeah, not to disparage people, it's the norm. The cultural norm is to go through the day and really not see a fruit or vegetable. I mean, there's no judgments here. It's just the way it is. Hey, Kate, just on that point, I had shared this with you earlier. Did my daughter take my cookie? I think oh, here it is. I somehow, even though we had thrown these out under the auspices of my other coach, Nancy, somehow Linzer cookies have made themselves back into the house.
Ooh.
I know, and it's like I opened the fridge. They're in the fridge. I kind of like them cold because they're like harder to chew into. I looked at the label, the nutrition label. It never ceases to amaze me. 120 calories for this. Look at it. It's 120 calories. Yeah. Kate, you eat this cookie. How often have you ever said, that was good, I'm good? I'm done. Never. So it's not just cookies, as you mentioned, chips. It could be anything, and they're in such abundance. So, it's treacherous when you're out there. And I just wanted to sort of anchor on that point that, boy, there are consequences if you don't practice the I'm going to figure it out response. The calories add up so much more quickly than anyone ever would imagine that they would.
Yeah.
Okay, HMR foods, on the other hand, it's a whole different story. So, here was the thought starter. Let's get into it. We posted this earlier. Thrilled with the response. So many people responded. It was really, really great. I printed several of these, and thank you for those of you who took the time to respond with your response to this thought starter, which was, what is a healthy food strategy that you've used to stay on track when camping, at a picnic, barbecue, or any time that you're away from home? So if you didn't respond, we are going to talk about those who did. I'd like you to think about that. So let me just repeat that thought starter right now. Can you, as you're watching right now, think of any strategy, any food recipe, whether meal or snack, that helped you when you were out and about, not in your regular routine, doesn't matter where you were or what you were doing, that was quick, easy, convenient, and supported your commitment to eat healthy? So that's the question. We'd like to hear a few people who are watching respond to that. And I did ask this in our group. Someone in my group, he gave me permission to share his email. Eric went camping, and he sort of qualifies it. Like, it wasn't like hardcore backpacking, but let me tell you, the camping he did was clearly harder than the kind the Riess family does. He could make hot water. He made that concession right up front in the email. I used cereal shakes with the shaker, a few entrees, which I'm happy to eat cold. I would like to correct him, as I have already, warm temperature. Lentil stew is fine cold, correction, warm temperature. Also, I can do the ravioli cold, warm temperature, and the beef stroganoff. I take easy to grab fruits, apples, bananas, artichoke hearts packed in water, which are very good on the lentil stew, berries and watermelon, and a few benefit bars. This plan works well for me, and it worked for me for several days. He stayed on track. He's in phase 1. His weight loss, he kept losing weight because he practiced the I'm going to figure it out response. I love that, Eric. If you're watching, you said you were going to watch tonight. Let us know that you're here. Thank you for letting me share that. That's tremendous. Really good.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about the challenges that camping or being on the go could bring, when you think about it, HMR foods are truly the perfect food because they're portable. You actually don't even need to refrigerate or freeze the meals. And so they can be the perfect opportunity for you to even create a safe environment. And one of the things that I've confronted too, Rick, if I want to, let's say I decide that I want my kids to make s'mores, like if that's going to be my game plan, I have 3 kids. I can bring 6 marshmallows or whatever I want. I don't need to bring a 100 pack or a 600 pack. That's another thing that can happen. If you're having a plan to have something for someone else, you want to make sure that you have a finite plan. And in addition to the great ideas that your client mentioned, Rick, we have people tonight also who shared so many wonderful suggestions. Susan, who's joining us, mentioned that she brings her HMR foods with her, and she also finds a supermarket where she's at so that she can stock up on fruits and vegetables. some people actually don't choose the camping route. Instead, Bob had shared that he actually goes for a hotel, that he can have a microwave, he can have his blender, all of those things. And then some people mentioned some more portable strategies. Rita mentioned that she makes the overnight cereal, which is great. We have a lot of people like Sandy doing the entrees stovetop, like cooking them together, enjoying as a group. So that was great. Lots of people also grilling and roasting veggies while they're camping.
Yeah, Rita, you said you'd be here. Are you here? I don't know. I missed you if you said you're here. When you say the overnight cereal, I think I know what you mean. Clarify, because that may be one of my favorite strategies when I go to the beach and also when I'm camping. I also just want to quickly acknowledge here a couple of points or comments. Eric Paul, thank you. I'm here. This is great. Well, we appreciate that. Thanks for the feedback.
Love it.
Dave Wilton made vegetable stew, 2 entrees, add 1 can of carrots, 1 green beans, and a foil dinner heated on a bonfire. I like that. I like that a lot. A couple of people mentioned the foil on the bonfire. Jacob from earlier in this week mentioned using in the foil. Nancy, our colleague, had talked about different creative things to do, even with some of the proteins, Kate, in the foil. Really, really, really good. And then Jennifer, someone who I work with very closely, wonderful to see you here. Fantastic. Really, really good. Okay.
And Rick, even a couple people mentioned physical activity strategies. Cecilia posted that if there's going to be a dessert time, she actually uses that to go for a bout of physical activity. And Marianne mentioned traveling with her portable pantry. She's with us tonight, and she does her YouTube videos in any location, so that was awesome to see.
Yeah, I like that. I think she had a term around the exercise, going out for the exercises of environmental control. I think the heavy hitters, I think she called when the heavy hitters come in, which was, you know what we're talking about. It's those big time 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s that just, you sort of lose all willpower the moment they land on your lap. Okay, great. Let's do this, Kate. We are talking about staying on track, eating healthy, and the particular theme that we're emphasizing with HMR Foods is quick, easy, and convenient. Personally, for me, I know taste and variety is important, volume is critical, but this is to me, it's the undervalued benefit of the HMR Foods, because is there anything that affects your ability to follow through? If it's hard and difficult and complicated, forget it. Oh, gee, I mean, I want to eat healthy, but it's hard, difficult, and complicated. Forget it. Quick, easy, and convenient. This is really important. So I just want to credential our strategies here as we get into it, Kate.
Yeah.
All right. So let's. I don't know if Rita's joined us, so we're gonna maybe it will remain a mystery about what the overnight multigrain cereal. But I do want to talk. Let's start first with multigrain cereal. Okay. Yeah. So again, for those of you who watched the video. Bro, sorry to interrupt your imminent bullseye. You mentioned multigrain cereal at the top of your list. If you had to say, because we make it every morning camping, big batch of it, everyone eats off it. But what's your favorite fruit?
I would have to say, for multigrain, strawberries in the morning, absolutely 100% bananas at night.
Strawberries in the morning and bananas at night. Okay, that's very specific. And I like
Love it.
I like not just the HMR multigrain cereal isn't just for breakfast anymore, Kate. You can use it at any time. That's great. I want to share, if I could, a strategy that is, I already mentioned it, it's my favorite. I'm going to go to the back table. I've got some foods displayed, Kate. Feel free to acknowledge people who are here while I go back here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we've got our multigrain cereal, and right here, it's a wide mouth thermos. Kate, you and I have talked about the merits of the wide mouth thermos.
Yes.
I mean, hot multigrain cereal, I mean, that's how 99% of the time people make it. I'm wondering again if Rita's idea is what I'm about to talk about, which is I make the multigrain cereal and I'll put it in a thermos and I'll make it the day before and let it get cold, literally cold, not room temperature, cold overnight. And my favorite fruit in it is the blueberries, and I bring it to the beach, and a double cereal fills a big wide mouth thermos like this up pretty high, especially with the blueberries. And I like it sweet, Kate, so I'll add the sweet and low, 1 per packet, but I'll do a double in here. And boy, oh boy, it's just refreshing and fabulous when
I love it.
on the go.
Yeah, I think I had shared with you, Rick, that I have this thermos. I don't know how to pronounce the brand, if it's Takeya or Takeya.
Takeya. I'm guessing Takeya.
Yeah, it's a 40-ounce thermos, and I have made triple shakes, quad shakes, and I've made them at 6 in the morning and at 6 in the evening. It is literally as if I just made them. My 10-year-old has even done experiments where he's put ice in here, and days later the ice is still intact. So it's a perfect strategy to, I mean, if you want to make 3 shakes, 4 shakes, or even just have ice in here, it's amazing, this thermos.
It's great. And again, what we're talking about is the benefit of portability. How many times when you're out of your routine are you faced with what's being presented to you, which, as we've already said, it's 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, and that is not going to help you with your calorie management, whatever phase of the program that you're in. So that's
totally.
That's a good one. Let's talk. A couple of people, Kate, with the hosts' responses to the Thought Starter earlier this week mentioned the shaker bottle.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So I'm standing back behind you, so if everyone feels like I'm yelling at you, I just want to make sure people can hear me. So the shaker bottle is, I mean, it's basic. I mean, you can get this for no money. I mean, get it at Walmart, whatever. I don't know, Kate, about the ball inside. I don't think I need the shaker bottle ball. It seems,
yep.
I make it with the 70 plus shake mix. It seems to just sort of make a 70 plus golf ball when I use that. I don't think I need that.
No.
And I have found, I personally like, let me come closer to the camera here. I like this it's a Starbucks. I use this as a shaker bottle because it's a little bigger than some of the other ones. And the key strategy for me, I take I fill it with some water.
Yeah.
And then I pour the 70 plus in. And while I'm pouring it in, I take a knife. Very specific here. I use a knife to mix it in so that you get rid of the lumps. I find a spoon or a fork. I know this is like super OCD, HMR, deep dive strategy stuff, but you do that and it doesn't make the lumps like the knife with the fork. So I mix it as I'm adding it, and then I add more water, and then I mix it, and then once it's done, I then will shake it. And then the key, even if I've used cold water, Kate, it's still not as cold as I like it. I then add a few ice cubes to it, and I get this huge, thick, 70 plus chocolate milk, sort of like the Ovaltine or Nestle Quick of times past. And
I love it.
15 grams of protein. If you do a double, 30 grams of protein. It's filling. I get hours of not being tempted by other stuff, by something that I can make in my car.
Rick, I've done something similar with diet soda or carbonated beverage, and I found that kind of like the carbonation makes a really thick and creamy shake in the blender, when you're on the go, it also makes it really thick and creamy. So I'll do some of the powder, some of the diet soda, back and forth. You want to make sure the top is on solidly if you're going to shake it. But that's a great strategy for the shaker bottle too.
Yep, that's great. So also supporting the whole value of the shaker bottle. We had Cecilia and Kindle from earlier this week with the post. Thank you, reinforcement for the value of the shaker bottle. So, oh, by the way, I do add an equal in there, because I can add more water without compromising flavor, and more water helps you feel more full. So, so the takeaway here, if you haven't sort of played around with the shaker bottles, please do. I like the 70 plus. You may decide what shape mix works for you.
Yeah, the other strategy I was going to actually demo to make a 70 plus in the packet, although when I dashed in from outside in my tent when I was getting poured on, I left my little fork, but just to demo how I typically do it, you can open the packet, and what I do is I literally just prop it open, and I pour my water inside, and then I take my fork, and I just slowly scrape around, and believe it or not, I actually eat the pudding directly in the packet. So, of course, if you have a plastic cup, that works too, but I've done this before at the airport. I've done it at the campsite, all sorts of locations when I just don't have the plastic cup at my fingertips.
So, Kate, you say fork. I see you also have done a little OCD strategizing here. Not a spoon, not a knife. You found the fork.
The fork just gets the powder it just blends it more easily. And of course, Nancy was like, well, then do you eat it with a spoon? You can, but I actually end up just eating it with a fork, and it just scrapes down the sides nicely, so I can make sure to include every little bit of the powder. I love it.
That's great. Really good. So let's just sticking with shakes. If you're out and about, don't assume that you can't have a blended shake. Even if you're really out of your routines, even if you're really out of your routines, camping or whatnot, we all know about portable blenders, with battery powered, and I'll just see that several people commented about those. Nicia, hope I'm presenting that, pronouncing that, and Cecilia talked about that, the portable blender. One of the things that we've done, Kate, though, is, so there are some cars that have the AC outlet in it, but a lot of cars don't.
Yeah.
For $50 at Radio Shack, I got it years ago. I put it into the cigarette lighter, and I'm able to put a regular blender in my car, of course, car camping, and I'm able to blend big shakes at rest stops and certainly at the campsite. Really, really tremendous. The question, though, Kate, and this is a big one, and this is, I'm about to drop about 45 years of experience on you. Bro, I'm going to need you for this in just a minute.
Oh, sure.
What are you doing for ice? If you're away from home, you don't have access to ice, how do you have ice? Well, one of the things we've learned, you can bring bags of ice or whatnot, but they're gone pretty quickly. So good old Gus, our father, developed this whole strategy of creating big blocks of ice. You can now buy them as blocks, and it's unbelievable how much longer the blocks of ice last. So if you're out and about, if you just a little bit of planning to have a big old block of ice, you're able to make shakes, big blended icy shakes with ice for days. So here's a block of ice that I made right here. So, bro, now the question, of course, Nancy had asked this. So, well, how do you chip it off to get, how do you produce
PA, physical activity.
Oh, Curdy's got old reliable here, as you can see. A nice big old, so, bro, one of the problems if you use that, of course.
That's just...
It might shatter. Why don't let's be a little smarter about this, and we'll show you how we do it. 45 years of experience.
You gotta use Old Faithful.
Yeah, you use an axe. That's right. What could go wrong here? Let's go. You ready? Isabella, come on in. Let's have an axe party.
You first.
All right. So
I don't know, friends. Are we supposed to put this ice in our blender?
I have a mini axe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Isabella just this is actually what we use. We use the claw end of the back of a hammer. You just chip away at it, and imagine that. Whether it's a battery-powered blender or you bought that device that allows your car to do it. I mean, you're just able to do blended filling shakes. Your routine is intact, even though you're completely out of your routine. So anyway, that's been a super helpful thing, and we do that all the time while we're camping.
Love it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I mean, one other thing too is the HMR chicken soup. To remember that that's a shake. I've even added room temperature water, a couple ounces, and had it as a dip for carrots, for snap peas. Of course, you can do it as a gravy with an entree, so that's a great shake to have on the road as well.
Yeah, that's really great. I think the whole idea of the chicken soup as a gravy is a really undervalued strategy. If you're a savory person, if you like that pow, that salty pow, and you're trying to flavor up your vegetables, or even with entrees or whatnot, boy, the chicken soup made as a gravy, that would be one. If you haven't tried it, it's just speaking to everyone out there, that's one to try, because people that for those who like that, they really like it, and you may be one of those people, but you won't know unless you try it.
Yeah,
love it. All right, Kate, who else do we have chiming in here?
We have lots of folks. Pam wrote some great strategies. It sounds like she brings all sorts of HMR bars, which is a great reminder too, how portable and convenient they are. Entrees, shakes, thermos. She has a travel electric blender, and she does stock up on her fruits and veggies when she hits the town. Lots of folks are curious about the wide mouth thermos. So if anyone has a good recommendation for one, certainly suggest it. My brand that I have done this thermos, they also have a 24-ounce wider one that I'll put entree with veggies, double entree combos in, and it stays piping hot. So lots of great suggestions here. Susan had mentioned even a 4-day trip that she went on, no grocery stores. She brought all that she needed to stay 100% in the box when she was on phase 1. A lot of folks, Rick, have mentioned the baked potato.
Yes.
And just wanted to talk about that for a moment, because that's been a suggestion for many people tonight.
Kate, let me just, on the wide mouth thermos, I'll just say one thing, and then we'll hit the potato. So for those of you who haven't, it's a good idea, wide mouth thermos, but you haven't done it yet. I had a conversation with someone that I work with in phase 1. Her name is Jamie. She allowed me to share her experience. She no time during the day. So the wide mouth thermos was a big part of it. Like, she has time at night to prepare. So anyway, her endorsement of this. Overall, the strategies that we discussed are working well. The thermos trick has been wonderful.
Love it.
Wonderful. And I'm learning to like some of the entrees at room temperature too. Boy, did she listen to my coaching, not saying cold. All right, so there you go. 2 endorsements there. What room temperature entrees can you enjoy when you're in a pinch to stay on track? And then the wide mouth thermos. You can't say enough about it. Okay, potatoes, Kate. Let's do it.
Yeah, and just real quick, so HMR health coach recommended the Yeti, which is wonderful. And then you and I were talking earlier that sometimes it's really hot and you don't want the piping hot entree. So just to open it up and eat it, it's warm, but it's actually sometimes preferable that way versus heating it up. So I just wanted to mention that as an endorsement too.
Yeah, I've actually found that it's been very hot here in the Northeast, Kate. Been doing the lentil stew over green beans. I heat the green beans, I leave the lentil stew cold, and there's a contrast there that I just love it, and I never would have thought of doing that.
So let's talk potatoes, and then we'll talk some other veggie fruits.
Sure, sounds good. So potatoes, take it away here.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different ways to do it. We had some recommendations for folks. Shane even had mentioned the Wendy's plain potato has been a lifesaver for him. So certainly there's some areas that you can get that on the road. One of the things that I often do will just pre-cook my potatoes and bring them with me when I do hit the road for a day or a couple days. And of course you can eat them at room temperature, but then if you cook them, they're already cooked. So they're well on their way. They take much less time.
Yep. So as much as in the annals of Riess camping and the vast strategy, reservoir that we have, I've never done, and none of us have done, the potatoes. So Nancy and I were talking about this in preparation for this conversation tonight, and she mentioned wrapping the potatoes in tinfoil and putting them in the fire. And I mean, what a great idea. I hadn't even thought of that. And then she also was talking about having some success with where you actually could put a lean protein in with vegetables, wrap them in tinfoil, and it cooks on the fire. So those are just awesome strategies on the go. Of course,
love it.
Yeah, you doing them ahead of time makes it quicker. But if you're just out there in the wilderness, that's a real keeper. Great.
Perfect.
Yep. All right, next one. Kate, talk to me a little bit about, let's, combining entrees. So this is a little bit related to the room temperature on the go. I think that I've come up with at least the healthiest, and this is like my big one in terms of combining entrees. Let me show you which ones we have. I take the aforementioned lentil stew and the whole grain medley. So here you are, a whole grain, super healthy, lots of new research coming out on that. And then the lentil stew, again, super healthy, protein, fiber, the whole thing. You put these two things together, so quick and easy. And Kate, I have to tell you, most of the time it's room temperature because it's quick and easy, and it's just to get a quick hit in and to stay on track. So these have been very helpful for me. I'm curious if other people have entrees that they've combined together to help them stay on track. There's so many combinations that you can do.
Yeah, I've done lots of different combinations. Rotini chicken Alfredo with penne pasta with meatballs. I've done risotto with beef stroganoff. I've done cheese and basil ravioli with lasagna. So you name it, really, whatever flavors. But yeah, sometimes mixing and matching them together makes it a little bit different and certainly more filling.
Yeah, that's great. I have a recipe that I'd like to share. I do it the very first day when we go camping. I do it in a very big pot, and it just stays there. And we don't have a fridge, and it stays there, and no one's gotten sick yet. We eat off it for a couple of days. It's an adaptation of a recipe my mother used to do, which is basically she makes beans. But what she did, she starts with a healthy, a portion of onions in the beginning, and I have HMR-ified it, Kate. I've taken the onions, and I do a whole bag of onions in the pan, and let them steam and reduce down. So I'm talking, it's a lot of diced.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah, and then I add not one kind of bean. Here we have cannellini. Lights, I go with lights, darks, reds. Here we have the small white beans. Here we have the red beans. And then we have the black beans. I add all 4 different types. We know that beans are among the healthiest foods that you can eat. The onions help to bring the calories per cup down. But Kate, when I tell you we do black beans, let me tell you, we're not just doing black beans.
Love it.
We are doing black beans. You know you can't see this, but I'm holding 7 pounds of black beans here, and I make a huge bean mix. And the reason I'm sharing this is because we have various people come up and join us on our camping trips. It's not always family. I cannot tell you how many people have said, how did you make the beans? What did you do for the beans? The beans are fantastic. So between the combination of different beans and the onions, boy, oh boy, it's just a fantastic complement to whatever else you're eating. So
one point to mention with those cans, which are wonderful, is when I am on the go, I get the ones with this pop top that I can just open easily. Of course, you could have a can opener, but that way you can just open them and make your recipes really quickly. And then also you can get fruit and make sure that it's in a light syrup so that you're not adding sugar that way. And I've done that also on the road with my 70 plus pudding, with my cereal. So those cans are really great and useful.
Great, wonderful, wonderful. You know,
let me chime in with Shane had mentioned for Ranger Rick a suggestion, the freshwater fish, which is a wonderful lean protein source for phase 2. I had to bring in too, Rick, your favorite, your Morningstar veggie burger, 110 calories, 10 grams of protein. So of course we're talking a lot of HMR strategies and veggie fruits, but also some phase 2 suggestions as well.
Let me repeat that, please, because you said it a little too quickly, Kate. The Morningstar veggie burger for 110 calories is about as much flavor in a patty for the... talk about staying on track. I just had it last night. I shared it with the group today, Kate.
I love it.
Yeah, fantastic. If you haven't tried the Morningstar veggie burgers, now there's a whole line now, and I think they've sold out a little bit on some of them, Kate. I'd stick with the black bean and the veggie, 110, 130 calories per patty. Cannot go wrong. So
Love it.
good. Yeah. Shane mentioned fish. Kate, I feel like I have to say, just in terms of portability, convenient.
Yeah.
You know, even cans can be a real pain. If you looked at some of the options here, and it's not just like one kind of tuna that's available. There's so many different flavorings that are added to these, and that, you know, it's portion control.
Yeah.
This one happens to be in water. I mean, it's low calorie. This is what we're talking about. Quick, easy, low calorie ways to stay on track with your healthy eating.
Made some of the HMR cookies this past week just to have at a difficult time. And of course, these are portable and you want to know how you're counting them. But in this particular case, 2 cookies would count as a shake. And they're made with cereal and an HMR 70 plus.
I'm so happy someone just asked you drain the beans. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. No one needs all of the sodium that they pack into those beans. And boy, oh boy, do they pack a lot of sodium. We absolutely do. I have a plastic, very portable, very lightweight, like colander thing. It's more like a net, like a fishing net. Just pour them in and rinse them. Yep.
I know that we're going to want to ask folks what they're willing to take on this week, but before we do, let's not forget just some of the portable fruits and veggies to pack: apples, bananas. Of course, you know, some hold up better depending on your circumstances. Grapes, carrots, to have your servings also to snack on is really important.
Yep. Kate, I do think that portability, a big point that we're making, it's essential, but I also would propose that portability really is an individual difference. Holding up a watermelon, a whole watermelon, which, you know, if you're backpacking, forget it. But if you bring one of these with you, I mean, look, it hasn't been refrigerated. It doesn't need to be refrigerated. It's not refrigerated in the store. You have servings for days. If you could just throw one of these in the car.
That's a really good strategy.
Or Kate, several people had said when they get to the location that they're going to, they hit the grocery store right away. Yep. And that was, this would be one of many things to buy. So that, again, back to our main theme, you are figuring it out and not taking a break with your weight loss and weight management. Hey, let me just quickly ask Kate, we talked about a few proteins here. Curdy, the maker of the world's healthiest sandwich. This is a phase 2 recipe. So, bro, you are so proud of your sandwich.
Oh,
tell us what's in it.
Well, thanks to my lovely bride.
Yes.
Ezekiel bread.
Ezekiel bread, yes.
A little bit of mustard.
Yep.
Some turkey.
Turkey.
You gotta have spinach.
Spinach in
And
the
the
sandwich.
secret ingredient, avocado.
Avocado.
Oh, baby.
Hey, are you from Boston? I can't tell.
Yeah,
Isabella, anything you want to add into your shakes or cereals? Or
Blueberry!
Well, I'm sorry, what was that?
Blueberry!
Ah, yeah, that's not a surprise. She's just doing
Love it.
Okay.
So good, delicious.
Yeah, great.
So
Delicious!
So, Kate, no matter how much we talk, it's the tip of the iceberg. The reality is that, again, the fork in the road as to whether an event or a trip is going to be successful happens much sooner than people think. That fork in the road starts with the decision, am I going to take a break or am I going to figure it out? And again, tip of the iceberg, but we've just touched on a number of different strategies about how you actually can figure it out. And boy, does that have that trip ending. You'll still enjoy your trip or your event or whatever it is and feel like, boy, I stayed in the driver's seat of my weight loss or weight management. And that's what the whole episode here was about tonight.
And one of the things that can happen, of course, when you're getting ready to leave for a trip is things are crazy and you have a lot to do. And what could happen is that you want to stay on track and then things get away from you. So when you do have things coming up, we ask that you set aside time to shop. If you are going to be purchasing the beans or making the HMR cookies, that you set aside time to do that. You have your bag packed with your foods and that you put it in the car. You don't forget it, all of those things, because that's going to make all the difference in the world for you.
Post from earlier, just to that point, you have to create your environment. No one's going to be handing you shakes and broccoli. Marianne.
No.
I am known as the portable pantry girl. When I go to the clinic for meetings, I have a pantry in my car. It is a box in my trunk.
That's
Call
so
it my
great.
portable pantry, stocked with entrees, shakes, shaker bottle, whisk ball inside, water, canned veggies, can opener, cups of fruit, plastic fork, spoons, skinny mix, ... It goes on and on. That's, again, called staying in the driver's seat. Well done, Marianne. Really, really good. So what are people going to take on here? Did you hear anything tonight? Maybe it could be sort of a little higher level insight on your part where you're thinking, well, maybe I could do more to practice and reinforce my I'm going to figure it out response. The more you practice that, the more it becomes a pattern. The more you practice that pattern, the more that pattern is reinforced and the easier it is to do it versus the I'm going to take a break response. So that sort of to me is like the first takeaway. And then the rest of this is, again, just sort of all of the specifics. Everyone's different. You got to figure out what works best for you. But the fact of the matter is, I have to quote Nancy one more time, there's always a next step. You can always figure out more than you think if you say, I'm going to figure it out versus I'm going to take a break. Because you've kind of taken that left fork to where you don't want to go early on with that response. So what have you heard tonight? Was there something useful in the conversation? We need some feedback from you. We'd like to hear a couple of comments right now. Is there anything that you would like to commit to as part of the formal accountability spotlight? I'm going to do this that I heard tonight, and we will follow up with you next week on that. Or is it more just sharing what you found valuable in the conversation tonight? Take a minute right now for those of you who are watching. What comes to mind to you as having been useful for the time that you spent with Kate, myself, and my compatriots behind me?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from Dana because she mentioned that she has the 8-day trip coming up and she took 2 pages of notes. If anything stands out to you that you want to commit to doing, we'd love to hear. I know, Gina, you are on the road and you had mentioned how challenging it can be after the beach, that people want to have drinks, cheese and crackers, and you have your veggies cut up with your tzatziki or hummus to be able to get in your servings and save calories. One of the things that I've confronted, Rick, and I certainly want to hear from you too, as I have my trip starting on the 10th, is I get off to a strong start with my shakes. But other times in the day when I would benefit from doing shakes, I may not stop to make them when I need them. And so that's where certainly my blender can come in. Or I've even just been in the recent practice of making 2, 3, 4 at once and having others ready for me for later in the day. So that's something that I am going to commit to on my upcoming camping trip.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Kate, I would put up one quick plug in also. No one mentioned, and we should mention HMR bars.
Yeah.
Quick, easy, and convenient. And in that moment when you're being tempted and you can pick a choice that is either in the box in phase 1 or in line with everything that you're up to with your weight and your health for phase 2,
totally.
that's a difference that makes a difference. So I would just plug the HMR bars as well on top of all the other strategies that we've talked about here.
Anyone hear anything tonight that you want to plan for in the next week? Even if you're not traveling, maybe you have time that you have to hit the road in your car, or maybe you're going somewhere. We'd love to hear what you're planning to do.
Yep, great. Lisa just gave a nice compliment. A lot of good strategies, not going anywhere, but plans to take advantage of these. Pam will put the entree on the dashboard to heat it up. It works. Yes, it does work. I have someone very vocal in my group who does that. It sounds like every day down in Austin, Texas. So that definitely works. And there you are. You're figuring it out, and you're on track.
A shaker bottle on a trip is a must for Leo. Strategy that we talked about tonight.
Fantastic.
Really nice.
Great. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really hope that this conversation was helpful, that all of these conversations that we have on Thursday nights are helpful. Thank you for being here. Always appreciate your time. We know how busy everyone is. Kate, before we sign off, any final comments from you?
Yeah, just, some folks are going to be watching this after the fact, and we ask that, of course, you take note of anything useful. You offer suggestions, too, for other people who are going to be watching this. And travel is tough, but the good news is that we can have a plan that it goes differently than how either it may have in the past or how the average American might travel.
Absolutely. And you are the catalyst for whether that's the case or not. So
true.
Take control. Awesome. Guys, thank you again. Have a great week.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
talking
Have a good
to
week,
you,
everyone.
Bye-bye.